everyone. रात के 2 बजे हैं. So let us have a purely intellectual discussion on one of the good issues, ethical capitalism. Basically, the capitalism, which I see as a parallel to colonialism, which rose in the second half of, you can say, the 19th century and the first half of the 20th century, and which flourished. The industrialists were coming and the world was very happy with progress, with prosperity, with wealth. And what happened was exploitation also. And capitalism functions on the basic principles of exploitation, which we cannot help. And as that is the case, there comes a need to maintain a balance. But as we see, the balance is only visible in the most developed economies, because the founders of good entity, not good, but the founders of corporate ethical and corporate entities which have become ethical and which have opened other foundations like Bill Gates and Warren Buffett and other such entrepreneurs we must take inspiration from. See, indigenous and Indian values are different. We can exploit workers to a certain extent, but we cannot take away their rights, and that is something we should appreciate. But when we examine the Tata Group, how the Tata Group started its journey by trading opium with China, and Chinese, I think, were addict of opium during those times. That is why there was a great demand, and then they set up the Tata Steel. And all businesses function on some or the other advantageous concept, and this comes in contrast with the other forms of, you can say, with other problems like Pigouvian tax is one such, you can say, element which we can connect to ethical capitalism. The governments which are more socialists and which are more democratic in nature, and the way the society functions in the countries which have a charter of rights, you can say a constitution, constitutionalism, ensuring the responsibility of individuals for the greatest good of the society. But all of this should be applied to the entire world, because by being by it being applied to only some parts of the world will only give rise to inequity, right? So ethical capitalism, as it is said, is a brilliant concept, but there are many other questions which come into being when we think about this in an intellectual way. For example, I remember one of the quotes of John Maynard Keynes, wherein he says that capitalism is an astounding belief uh, that the wickedest of the men will do wickedest of the things for the greatest good of the society. So it is a astounding belief. So we can question this, and we can think about ethical capitalism in a more introspective way, because that is the future. But is it going to be decided in a democratic manner, or only by a few entities which wants to fulfill the corporate social responsibility but do not want to fulfill in the way which is, you can say, which is the most desirable way for the welfare of the society? So this is something I wanted to talk about. This is something I think about a lot, and please feel free to share your views or talk to me.